Hello, my name is Kim Shelton Williams, and I'm a teacher at Washington Elementary in Sacramento, California. I wanted to first start off with an apology about this very late submission, but I did have an epiphany, or I woke up to an epiphany this morning as our final project literally just landed in Benin and is in the hands of students in Nigeria. They're here.
This is better.
You see this light now, you see?
You can see.
When the turner is okay, the light may change to green or blue.
And after hearing the words from Boniface Chinadu, our contact in Nigeria, and reflecting really briefly about this project in its entirety, I realized that I had to do justice to it and to the students and our sponsors and share this project with you, and hopefully you will consider it for a late submission. Our project is titled Urukpa equals light equals power, the power of light. Urukpa is an Ishan word, which means light. Our project scenario was that we learned from our drumming instructor about the village that he grew up in, and we learned that students in the village lack resources. One of the resources is electricity. Students that do have electricity, oftentimes it's interrupted. Many of the students do not have light at night, and we discussed as a class the needs of these children and possibility of making a change and helping them. So our driving question became, how can we as sixth grade students harness the power of the sun to provide key resources to people in the world, around the world, particularly these students? So our project pathway began with obviously our need to knows, and then creating our next steps. Our need to knows we addressed first. In next generation science standards, we learned about fossil fuels, renewable energy, non-renewable energy. We researched different types of fossil fuels like biomass, hydropower, and solar, and our focus became set on solar as the project developed. We some benchmarks along the way. Students worked with larger solar panels. We learned about photovoltaic cells. We expanded our learning from fourth grade and fifth grade about circuit, series, parallel wiring, and learned. We made solar mini solar cookers. We did all the checkpoints along the way concerning the science standards. We did focus on the language arts aspect during this unit as well, using domain-specific vocabulary and precise language, because we knew that we had some pretty sophisticated technology that we were working with. It might seem overwhelming to somebody who hadn't been exposed to it before, so we wanted to find a way that we could communicate to students in Nigeria how the kit actually works, how we are harnessing the power of the sun, how we are creating electricity in a way that doesn't impact the planet in a negative way. We did have a bit of some argumentative essays and discussions about actually the process of creating the panels and the plastics and resources that are used to create solar panels. It was an interesting unit. And we did learn, we continue to have discussions about how we can become stewards of the planet, the importance of that, making a change, and doing what we can to combat the effects of climate change and the reality of the student's future. I think that also should be mentioned. I'm not sure what standard that would be under, but I do know that this project did lend to the authenticity of the project, really engaged students and empowered them. We talked about how oftentimes we become overwhelmed with some of the negativity that we hear in the media about climate change and global warming, and this empowered students so that they knew that they could make changes, make a difference, and take back some of the control of these unknowns. So along the way, some benchmarks, as I've said, they worked with an interactive notebook, they drafted ideas, they researched and learned about the tools that they would be using. They actually got into some soldering and putting the pieces together. Doing the research, they also found and researched the actual costs of shipping these kits once they were built to Nigeria, once they were built, shipping them to Nigeria. So we did track down some kits from a partner, somebody that we ended up partnering with, the Solar Schoolhouse and SMUD. They helped us get the resources for the kits. Students put together lightweight portable charging stations. They actually did in this example, they did the soldering of the pieces. We took apart some card chargers, summing it up quickly, very quickly. They took apart some card chargers, used a heat gun to seal the connections. And what the solar kits do is they can charge a power bank, which was a lot of fun. They charge the power bank, which then can be used with anything that plugs into a USB cord. So we found these lightweight 2 light bulbs that packed nicely and shipped nicely. I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss any of the checkpoints. Partners, the community partners became a big part of this project. As I've said, we were involved and worked with SMUD, the Sacramento Municipal Utilities District, Wazobia Arts, a West African cultural arts program. We partnered with Majesty African Market, had a lot of sponsors and donors on social media that helped us raise funds to get 24 kits and the tools and equipment that we needed to modify the kits. And here they are. I think that the pieces that made this so successful was, again, the agency and students' accountability to one another. Students were, over a 2-year period, were grouped into teams and they built out the kits. They knew that they were each responsible for learning about the kit, learning about the building procedure, and they had to train somebody else on that specific part of the building piece. They knew that the resources that we were given were very expensive and they were going to change the lives of somebody else. Many of our students, about 50% of our student population, come from low-income minority students. Oftentimes, they don't have, some of the needs, the day-to-day needs, and I think it really empowered them to know that they could take their learning and something that they constructed and change the life of somebody else. They didn't have to go out and purchase something or be from a very affluent family. I think that was a big takeaway and a big piece of the experience. Something that I learned personally from this project, the reason why I'm actually making this video right now is that the authenticity of this project and letting students drive the project pushed me as an educator. I don't think that I would have taken the steps and gotten as far as I did with this project without the support of the students, the interest level of the students. I also learned how I can grow as a learner and how we can, through the PBL, this is probably a big plug for PBL, but through the using the PBL process, we can create some really powerful products. So thank you for, let me make sure that I think I hit on the big ahas. I did want to show you one last picture that I got about 20 minutes ago. Here are students that received the poster about solar energy, and I'm about to go to class right now and share the great news with my students. And thank you for your consideration.